Pause this video right now. Go and read We Used to Live Here by
Marcus Kliewer. And when you've read it, you can join us for the discussion.
Or you can join us anyway because we're going to tell you all about it. My name's Elijah.
And I'm Joseph, and welcome to the Aisha Library.
So, what did you think of the book? I don't think it was worth the read. I think this video is for all the people who hated the book or didn't like the book and they want to come here to hear us rant about it.
Yeah, I, for once, tried to see the positives in it. And
I saw some
I did my best to attribute things to it that it maybe didn't deserve. Look, I don't believe it was necessarily worth the read.
It wasn't worth it.
There was huge problems.
My credit
There was huge problems. I thought that was a spider first.
That's gonna go at some point, and when it does, I'm not gonna do a thing about it. But go ahead. This one's going as well.
I saw. Is it already going?
It's going as well. What happens?
It is what it is.
No one's watching.
No one's watching. I'm not even watching. I ain't watching these. So let me just get started with the blurb. As a young queer couple who flip houses, Charlie and Eve can't believe the killer deal they've just gotten on an old house in a picturesque neighbourhood. As they're working in the house one day, there's a knock on the door. A man stands there with his family, claiming to have lived there years before, asking if it would be alright if he showed his kids around. People pleaser to a fault, Eve lets them in. As soon as the strangers enter their home, uncanny and inexplicable things start happening, including the family's youngest child going missing and a ghostly presence materialising in the basement. Even more weird, the family can't seem to take their hint that their visit should be over. And when Charlie suddenly vanishes, Eve slowly loses her grip on reality. Something is terribly wrong with the house and with the visiting family, or is Eve just imagining things? So right from the off, I thought the blurb was way too long. Obviously, this is going to sound like it's my fault because I'm the one who can copy and pasted it and read it. But at the same time, I really think blurbs should be very, very short, very, very punchy, and leave... You're about to read the book anyway, so you don't really need that much information.
And the blurb, everything that happened in the book basically happened in the blurb. That was
that was literally a much more of a synopsis than a blurb.
There wasn't really much action. But yeah, let me go into my first point.
Yeah.
Straight off the bat, this book has made no attempt at trying to get us to give a fuck about this family or the story. It's actually quite initially dry. On the plus side, our main character does seem to be quite well developed. She seems to have this people-pleasing trait that means she is literally incapable of saying no. I can't say it's an original idea, but at least it's something. In some ways, she needed to have that trait, that people-pleasing trait for the story, because had I been the owner of the house and a strange family came knocking to us to have a look around, I'd tell them exactly where to go. And the book would end there. The end. That's what it would end.
Literally, next.
How many points do you got?
5.
Yeah, I've got about 5.
Ridiculous book. But anyways, Charlie and Eve are a queer couple who have just settled into a new house when there is a knock at the door. Yada yada. A man stands outside with his children, claiming to have grown up in Eve's new house, and asks permission to give his children a quick tour. Due to being a people pleaser, Eve allows them to wait in the foyer while she checks with Charlie. Now, obviously, she should have said no. Let's just get out of that. She should straight away.
I'll send you some photos.
I wouldn't even said that.
Yeah.
I literally would have been like, no hablas inglés. with no thanks. Using the innocence of children to force someone this way or that way is manipulation. And anybody trying to manipulate you should not be in your house. So I thought... Well, this is just something that crossed my mind. The first thing is that if you turn up and say, I grew up in this house, my little kids want to see it. Yeah. The first thing you're going to think is, how can I say no to children? And that person's going to know you're going to think that. So it's just seemed like manipulation to me.
Yeah.
However, if Eve was at all sensible, the book would be over early, like you just said. So
yeah,
this is the problem that I had straight from the off, because the author did not create a realistic opening to the book. Already, like, we're down. Do you know what I mean? We're 1-0 down already, because it's like, that wouldn't have happened. You could have done that better.
Do you think it'd be more realistic or less realistic if they said, we were driving by and my daughter really needs to go toilet, and I actually grew up in this house, so I just thought, why not the door?
I don't know. I think the whole thing about him growing up in his house was like, it was incompatible with them just by chance going past. That's incompatible, because that's just the most unrealistic thing I've ever heard. So maybe if he was like considering buying the house, for example, and she was like estate agents, for example, showing the house, I don't know. Maybe something like that, and then the story
Well,
could have taken like a different...
or he could have wanted to buy a house because they were fixing and flipping, remember? So he could have just
Do you
been
know what I
going
mean?
by
It's
and
right
saying,
there.
you know
Yeah,
what,
tap it.
I used to
Do you know what I
live
mean?
it.
Tap it.
Yeah.
Literally, that was
I
tap
mean, it was right there.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
Tap it. Literally, tap it. There's a penalty. You missed it.
I actually hate books or films like this where we are stuck in one location. The action has to be 10-10, otherwise the story seems to drag on. And I mean, it's hardly started with a bang. I'm 5 chapters in and all that's taken place is a silly game of hide and seek with the little girl. Nothing much else. I will say it's bold of the wife to challenge the homeowner's lifestyle choices in their own house. You know, the scene where they were having dinner and the uninvited guests start passively questioning the lesbian couple about Jesus. I felt like I wanted to cover my face. So yeah, the bit where the husband was like, Jenny, I don't know what her name was. I don't know what the wife's name was.
Paige.
Paige. He's like, she just kept
pushing him.
Because they're lesbians, but they have the Bible or whatever.
Yeah, they had a Bible in the house. Look, I found that a very interesting scene.
I liked it, and I think if you're at a family dinner and those are the people you know and whatever, cool. Or you've at least been invited, but you're not. You're
just in some stranger's house, antagonising
like,
them about their life. Which, that's why I found it interesting as well, because that's kind of what a lot of religious people are actually like. They'll just antagonise you about your life choices, even when
because obviously it is their business, because God says it's their business.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
that's where the conflict comes in,
obviously,
and it's incompatible lifestyles. Yeah. But this is the most boring horror book ever. So Thomas, the dad who grew up in Eve's house, is leading a little tour group around the house, pointing out things like drawings his sister did, or, paintings his mother made. All the while, Eve is having old nightmares about something in the basement. So it feels disjointed, like the author hasn't decided what the plot is, or it's not apparent to us what the plot actually is, or if there is even one at all. In any case, I give 0 fucks about this plot or these characters, and fuck the dog too. Like, genuinely, I don't care about one single...
You want to what?
Do you want to the dog? No, but in all seriousness, come on.
Yeah,
it was ridiculous.
And you know what? I typed in scariest horror book, and this is what it gave me. I wanted to be wetting my pants.
Yeah,
Someone said in the comments, it's not in the comments, in the reviews, don't read this before bedtime, or don't read this anywhere near bedtime.
You should absolutely read this before bedtime.
Put me to sleep. You know what I mean? Is this a trope where the main character is thought to be overreacting or crazy or just imagining things? Why couldn't both Eve and Charlie be spooked or freaked out from the beginning? It would have at least been original. They could have made each other get freaked out even more. They could have been calming each other down and telling each other things like, yeah, we're probably overreacting. And I'd like to go on record to say that I am not scared or creeped out at all.
Yeah.
Why?
I could see the very, very obvious and ham-fisted attempts to make us creeped out, but it's literally just like, I just think that's weird.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for something to happen.
Windows disappearing.
I'm rooting for the monster at this point. Kill them all, bro. I don't care about them.
Just want some action.
Do you know what I mean?
Then we had this random neighbour scene.
It feels pretty forced at this point and definitely not scary. To be totally honest with myself and all of our viewers, if I wanted to be scared, I'd check my account balance. But since we're meant to be reading a horror book, is it at all unreasonable for me to expect to be so scared I need to change underwear halfway through? So Jenny, the little daughter, goes missing during the tour of the house, and her father Thomas thinks she's hiding. I assumed at this point there's going to be a more nefarious reason for her disappearance. But at this point in the story, I'm not feeling any kind of dread or suspense at all. The author's decision to give us characters who don't know each other from Adam is a strange one, and takes away the jeopardy of them all being in danger together. So it's like, first of all, they're all in danger together. We assume at some point they're going to have to band together, work together to escape the danger. If they don't know each other, let's say you're the dad, why am I looking out for these random strangers? Cool, I'm in their house, I'm taking mine, and I'm going. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. If you're like the lesbian couple, why am I going to run back into the house for I'm going. So it's like, we don't feel any jeopardy for any of these people at all. And there's like 7 man and 1 monster, so just jump him. Do you know what I mean?
You don't sound like any black person I've ever heard. In horrors, they run.
Yeah, because we die first, that's why.
We get a scene where a generic white person chases a pet into a haunted, insert name of your choosing. On this occasion, it was a haunted cabin. Original, I think not.
Oh my god, furthest thing from the original.
There was quite a bit of suspense after Charlie had been included into the spooky things, such as the windows disappearing. There was a part just after she agreed that they would spend the night in the hotel instead of the house. Charlie said, I just need to go back into the house to collect some things one last time. And I thought, at this point, I thought, well, that's it. She's done. So that was one of the few parts where I was on the edge of my seat. But overall, I think the book was wasting money. Because when she was going back in the house, I was thinking, nah. Not within you're realising a window's disappearing and you're going back in your house.
You're about to get yammed.
I was thinking, nah. So I felt the suspense there.
Even when they was like, we're going to spend the night in a hotel, I was like, the night? You got to disappear in windows in the house. You're going away for one night. I ain't going to do shit. You're still going to be there when you get back.
Demon gone by.
Do you know what I mean? He's still going to be there by the time you get back, you know? He can make windows disappear. He will make you disappear same way. Queer baiting. We're nearly 2 hours into the story, and we haven't seen Charlie, Eve's girlfriend, at all. So this is literally before she even showed up.
Yeah.
We haven't seen Charlie, Eve's girlfriend, at all. There are those on the World Wide Web who could potentially view this as queerbaiting. For those who don't know, queerbaiting is a strategy employed by writers where they tease queer or LGBT representation in order to market their work to those communities, but they never actually deliver.
Really?
So it's looked down as like hugely, no to like bait that. For example, House of the Dragon did a similar thing where they teased like this lesbian relationship and they never actually showed it. And there was even the writers were like, it's not in the script. And loads of people were like, well, it seemed, they was making googly eyes at each other and all kinds of, it's a thing. And I was like, because the first words of the blurb are, as a young queer couple. So it's like, this needs to be very, very important to their characters.
Yeah, and it just wasn't. It did feel like a tick to the LGBT community, to be honest.
It's always going to feel like that, though. That's the funniest thing. Like, when there's queer representation...
As a main character.
It's always going to feel like they're just doing it.
Even if they're not main characters.
It's always going to feel like they're just doing it.
Because the norm is...
Do you know what I mean? It's like when you have a whole white cast and then one black character. It's always going to feel like you just looked at the cast and said, what's this cast missing?
Yeah.
One black character. I don't know. It didn't really, the relationship between Charlie and Eve, I wasn't like...
Do you have anything good to say about this book? Because you just said that you was trying to talk about a good point.
I've got one left and it's the only good one.
I've got this one. I said, okay, nice. The book has finally started. Eve and Charlie are in bed together in said hotel. They are sleeping, right? Charlie's phone rings at 3 a.m. and the phone's on vibrate, but it wakes up Eve, who's having suspicions that Charlie is cheating, because whose phone rings at 3 a.m, right?
I know, right?
I mean, my side bitch knows not to call me at 3 a.m.
Of course not.
But, so Eve sneakily answers Charlie's phone in the hotel toilet. Turns out, it's the real Charlie on the phone! Charlie never actually left the house when she went back in for that one more thing. The Charlie that Eve was laying up with must be a demon doppelganger.
So Eve was cheating. Plot twist.
This was another part of the book that I thought was good. I mean, it was creative and I didn't see that coming. But my question to you, Joseph, is what are you doing next? Because I'm going to check. I'm going to check. That's not.
I'm going to see how far that demon wants to go to maintain his cover.
Because it sounds like a free pass. Sorry, babes.
Oh my!
Sorry, babes. Didn't know I was fucking the demon.
And you know
better than twin. You know that shit would be good too. Demon pussy.
Demon box. Are you insane?
You know that demon girl ain't gonna be starfishing.
Demon time. Yeah, demon time.
That demon's gonna let you do diabolical things.
That's over. It's over.
But do you think that that's why there was no sexual scenes in the book? Because you'd be able to tell straight away, a demon isn't going to replicate a man's skull and replicate the loose pussy with it. That's going to be some designer vagina. You're going to be like
that.
You're going to be like,
well, this ain't the way.
You're like, something alright.
Yeah, this ain't the way. Normally gripping like this. What's going on?
She was like, there's certain things that your girl just does or doesn't do.
You know what I mean?
And you'd notice.
You didn't have my legs twitching like this before. I'm suspicious.
I mean, I know my girl from when I'm putting the first 8 inches in, and she's not wincing. But then the girl would be like, finish on my face, pappy. You'd be like,
I still do it.
You do it.
But then after, I'll be like, well, what was that?
I think men are so easy to get.
We're all the same. We're all the same. On a certain level, we're all the same. We're all the same.
Catch out easy,
The funniest thing is, I was like, on some level, we were still gonna do it.
Yeah.
Like, that was never in question.
But
I like how she straight away she was horrified. I have to get out of here. I'm like, got to get back in there. Pretend the answer for me. I was sleeping.
I didn't know.
I was sleeping.
But yeah, no, that bit was. I thought that bit was good because I didn't see that coming. I don't know what I thought was gonna come next, but
it's weird for me because when moments like that happen, and I remember thinking specifically this when I read that moment. If you drop, I think the author kind of cheated because she dropped a supernatural moment onto on top of a real moment. So do you remember when we read Behind Her Eyes? I know. But remember when we read Behind Her Eyes and the whole book was normal and then just dropped supernatural on us?
But that's how you get someone in it. It's cheating.
Nah,
it is cheating.
Yeah, that's why I wasn't. Not.
But
this
is less of a that because this is it's always was supernatural with demons and haunted. That is always going to be supernatural. Whereas Behind Her Eyes, that was just a random supernatural.
Yeah, that was more random. How many more have you got?
I've got one.
I've got one left.
Yeah, I've got one.
Shall I just do my last
one?
Characters are starting to gain my interest. Charlie seems by far the most interesting. By the way, I want to think, who did you think was actually the most interesting? Not only was she capable, I also hated her.
She's basically the man.
Yeah, which I thought was actually, is this really LGBT representation?
Well, as I said, there was no sex scenes, there was no kissing, there's no nothing.
No scissoring.
That's what I was waiting for. Do you know what I mean? Some girl on
What's the point?
There was nothing.
Charlie seems by far the most interesting in that she sounds like a dick. Confrontational with a smart mouth that makes you, the reader, want to knock her out. Well, it made me feel like that. There's a couple scenes in there where I was literally just like, you seem like a bit of a dick, for example.
Yeah, if you want me to boot them out, I'll boot them out.
Do you know what I mean? Things like that. One literally just like, all right, bad man. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, we're gonna have to fight now.
Because worst case scenario, you're calling the police anyway.
Calm down, bro.
You got guns.
Literally. Any character or piece of writing that can cause emotion to bubble to the surface, even once with parameters, irritation, has value to it.
Yeah.
So perhaps we can be rewarded with a moment where Charlie gets humbled after mocking Eve's Uncle Benji for thinking he saw a monster. Because there was a scene, basically, when Eve's Uncle Benji was like, oh, I saw a monster, I got a picture. And he was showing everybody the picture and it was some monster with yellow eyes or whatever. And he was like, I saw it, it's a demon, I saw it. And she was literally just like, you fucking idiot, it's an owl. Yeah. And the picture's overexposed. And they said she pointed with her pinky at the... And I was literally just like, we're scrapping now.
Well, this is the thing. This is the thing, right? This is what I was telling you about us and our reading and psychology and stuff like that. You don't need to publicly shame people. You don't need to tell people things. Just let them believe what they want. Because when you tell someone something, sometimes you make them feel stupid. You don't make them feel stupid, but they feel stupid and they blame you.
Exactly.
And they no longer like you.
Exactly.
So being liked is quite important. It's quite a useful skill.
It definitely
she was definitely wrong for doing
it. A lot of people will say they don't care about being liked, and that's totally fine to not care about being liked.
Lie.
First of all, I don't necessarily always think it's a lie, but I do think it's stupid to not care about being liked because it does actually matter, like you said.
I think it is a lie.
And 3, it definitely comes in handy. You could not say it doesn't come in handy being liked. The door's open for you when people like you.
Know.
And loads of doors shut.
Oh yeah.
Listen, I resent you for making me read this book.
Good. Did you expect an apology?
That'd be nice. I'll be waiting.
But it was a little trippy little story. Definitely not scary. Do we actually know what happened then? I assume Eve in fact was real because of the locket at the end. Because the way the story ended, apparently Eve was some psycho schizophrenic and her name wasn't even Eve and it was Emily. And that she'd imagined everything. The family never turned up at the house and it was in fact that she was staying with the family. Charlie wasn't even her girlfriend. They had broken up 2 years prior. The story ended with Eve slitting the wife's throat, which was actually quite suspenseful. So after Eve had been taken into custody, that's when it was all revealed to us. I'd like to add that it was quite powerful and probably unrealistic for Thomas to forgive his sister for killing his wife.
Yeah, come on.
But this story did have a few elements in there that was quite good psychologically. But I mean, the ending was confusing. It was just out of nowhere.
Very confusing. And the fact that she imagined all of that means the story was 30 or 40% more pointless than I already thought it was. And that was already not good because I already didn't think there was much of a point to it. So it's we're going to erase everything that we've literally just spent 11 hours reading.
Yeah.
I was like, well, thanks for that. I didn't think I thought you could sink no lower. But yeah,
probably one of the worst books we've read. It's
That's
Every time
still
I
the
say-
worst.
yeah.
It's still the worst.
No, but it's as bad. This is as bad as the other horror we read. Tender is the flesh.
Oh, okay, yeah.
This is
fair
as bad
enough.
as and as pointless as that. We need to
Yeah.
find one that's actually good or scary. At least be scary.
I've to this still not actually seen anything that's actually scary. But I don't know because I don't read horror literature. I don't know if there's anything that is actually scary out there
I'd be
because
wetting my pants.
it's words on a page.
Just close the book.
Close the do you know what I mean? Like, bro, you're getting scared. You're in your house. Like, come on,
Close the
man.
book.
Come on.
So yeah. We got some books next week.
We got some
I
books.
can't remember what they are though.
Not scary
I'm
ones.
reading one. I don't know what it's called. Wild Eyes. It's supposed to be the number 2 most popular book on Goodreads, and the number 1 is Funny Story. Yeah, I know, but it's super popular. That woman's made money.
Emily Henry, yeah. She
That
made
woman's
change.
made bread off that.
Disgraceful shillings.
And the other book, I can't remember what it is. It's I don't know. It's some non-fiction though. One's fiction, one's non-fiction. But yeah, it's time for us to end. And it's been nice talking to you about these books, even though they haven't been any good.
Yeah.
Well, one of them was good.
One of them was
actually. One
extremely
very
good. And the one we did last week, Cookbook Red, was very good. Yeah. And the one we did this week was back to the drawing board with that one.
But yeah, listen, guys, it's been great. Until next time.
Till next time.
You know, we're nearly on 300 subs as well, you know.
Are we?
296, which is actually quite good. But yes.
So I can delete my 295 accounts.
But yeah, till next time.